Hi there, this is Grooving in G, and today we're just going to do a quick little tutorial in Renoise. I just want to show you this kind of pretty cool trick that I've worked out on how to get a tape warbling effect inside of Renoise. Now I've got this pedal which is called the Fairfield Shallow Water, and it does this kind of random pitch modulation, but it sounds really cool, and I kind of figured out a way to kind of emulate this in Renoise. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're just going to get a sample that will sound good with a bit of warbling, and let's just put some chops in so we can play this out later. I'm just quickly doing this, and I'm using the Cmd K to put slices in here, and I'm just clicking in with my mouse. Okay, so I've put some chops in, and now what I'm going to do is you go to the modulation panel. Now, when you apply modulation to, say, the volume, panning or pitch in this window, they are always triggered by notes. So say I go to pitch and I apply an LFO. Every time I hit the note, it's going to start from the very start of the LFO, so it's triggering it every time I press a new key. Now, if you want to use a free LFO, there's a way you can do this, and what you got to do is you go macros and you assign the pitch input to the first macro, and then we call it pitch. Okay, so now we can come back to our window, and if I just call this piano, we can go and create something called instrument macros. So if you go just type in macro, and you get this instrument macros, and then we're going to get one LFO, and then if you click that LFO and then paste it next to each other, so we're going to use two LFOs and instrument macros. You've got some waveforms here for the LFO, and we're going to use a random waveform, and then we're going to assign this to instrument macros, and then we're going to stick it on pitch. So we're going to take down the amplitude, and we're going to leave the frequency very low, and you will start to hear so it's probably already doing a little bit too much. Now you can hear it kind of changing. So this is to make this kind of work a little bit better and kind of work a bit more by itself, I'm actually going to take this LFO and assign it to the amplitude of this one. So LFO2 to LFO1 and assign it to amplitude. So now it's modulating the amplitude of this LFO, and if I take this way down and I offset it, and I have this one potentially go random as well, maybe, or let's go sine less. So we still got, it's still a little bit too much. Maybe offset a little bit more. Let's take this down to 1% maybe. So what I'm doing is I'm just using, I'm kind of doubling up on the randomization. So I'm randomizing the amplitude, and then the amplitude is then randomizing the pitch. So you're getting kind of double randomness. So if I just play the whole sample, you know, it's still a bit much, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go device chain. You can combine these into a Doofer. Now, why this is useful is because you can save this out, and we'll do that in a second, but I'm going to call this Warble. And I'm now going to just take this parameter and I'm going to assign it to amplitude there. And let's just make it say min max 20. I want the max to only affect this a certain amount, because if you listen to it now, that's quite a large amount of wobbling. I don't think I want much more than that. So that's why I've just only assigned it to 20% of the amplitude. So if I pull this right down, and what I also want to do is actually assign it to offset. So I can see offset 3.6 is where I'm at now. If I just copy that, so it's 3.6, and let's assign LFO 2's offset. There we go. And this wants to be 3.6. Okay, we're getting there. So I've got this at 50, and when I'm on nothing now, there's no warbling, okay? But as I start to bring this in, you see this starts to jump around. So quite extreme there. But that sounds quite nice to me. Just at a low amount, you get these kind of real nice little pitch movements that kind of emulate a real vinyl. So one way you could take this a step further potentially would be to kind of layer some vinyl crackle maybe under your samples. Okay, well that's it for me today. I hope this trick was useful for you. I will include my Doofer for download in the comments section, so if you want to just nick my version, you're welcome to it. Yeah, enjoy some tape warbling vinyl magic.